$35. That's how much she got paid to design this back in 1971. Of course, everyone knows Nike, but not everyone knows the story behind the iconic Nike swoosh, what it represents, why Nike chose it, and how she didn't actually get ripped off. That's right, this story has a happy ending that all creatives can learn from. This is Carolyn Davidson. In 1971, she was a graphic design student at the Portland State University. One day at school, while drawing in the hallway, she was approached by this guy, Phil Knight, who taught accounting as a way to fund his side business, Blue Ribbon Sports. Yeah, even in the 1970s, people had side hustles, which would actually be a way better name for an athletics company than Blue Ribbon Sports. Anyways, legend has it that Carolyn needed money for painting classes, so Phil offered her a part-time job designing charts for $2 an hour. Not exactly the kind of job young designers dream of, but you have to start somewhere. Eventually, Phil approached Carolyn with an idea. He was going to produce his first ever running shoe, and it needed a logo. The task was to design something that conveyed motion and looked like Adidas without looking too much like Adidas while kind of looking like Adidas. You know, client stuff. Legend has it, Carolyn designed half a dozen logos and Phil was absolutely blown away. He was like, "This is amazing," and just kidding, he didn't like any of them. But because he had a factory in Mexico just waiting to go, he ultimately settled for the swoosh, saying, "I don't love it, but maybe it'll grow on me." Which is a great reminder that sometimes good enough actually is good enough. So with that, Carolyn wrote an invoice for $35 to account for 17 hours of work, although she'd later admit that she underquoted, which is the most relatable thing ever as someone who's been a junior designer just trying to get by. Now, despite her lack of experience, the logo works. That sense of speed and movement is there. The logo is positive, flying on an upward angle, and that form is perfect for a shoe. At the same time, it does a good job of subtly referencing the Greek goddess of victory, for whom the brand eventually would be named after. As a logo, the swoosh checks all the boxes, minus that cursive text, which was thankfully updated in 1978 after Nike hired John Brown and partners to take over advertising. But don't worry, Carolyn wasn't fired or anything. As Nike grew, they eventually needed more support than she could offer as a one-woman design team. Sounds like they could have used a design service like, I don't know, Superside. Now, despite making just $35 on the logo, it worked out in the end. In 1983, Nike threw a party for Carolyn and gifted her with a diamond ring along with stock in the company. A lot of stock. Like, "We know that paying you $35 for a logo won't age well, so we're gonna make you rich," kind of stock. As for Nike, the logo became so popular, they eventually dropped the word mark altogether. Later, they would pen the slogan, "Just do it," which became almost as iconic as the swoosh itself, despite being inspired by a 70s murderer whose famous last words were, "Let's do it." They've also consistently knocked it out of the park with their advertising. In researching this video, I was drawn to this ad from 1977 called "There's No Finish Line," in which there's no product. Instead of selling, the ad connects Nike to its audience through a shared feeling, which has proven to be a timeless strategy. As are the lessons of this story. Carolyn didn't just apply for a job with Nike as we know the brand today. She took a part-time job designing charts for a nobody company. She started at the bottom and put herself in a position to seize opportunity when it came, and it clearly paid off. But what's your takeaway from the story? Let me know in the comments, and while you're down there, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more on design and marketing. Thanks for watching.